Hello and welcome back to Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit. No, there isn't more content. Well, technically, this video is about the other stuff that I didn't record. So I'm gonna be showing you guys all the other endings, mostly just the bad endings and the better ending. I'm also gonna show you the little 3 secret games and how to get them. The games being like little mini games that I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. And what else? Also some other little things here and there about like the Fazbear Frights and things like that, okay? So yeah. Also, something that I noticed as soon as I finished my playthrough, I noticed that if you start a new game after finishing the game on Frightening, you get the option to play it on Terrifying and Nightmare. So if you know from other, Five Nights at Freddy's games, they ramp up like the things for the animatronics. So like on, what is it, Nightmare, it just makes all of them worse. And it also like removes some other things and makes other things harder, I guess. But yeah. Anywho, so yeah. Okay, so I found the game and I realized that I wasn't recording. Anyway, so to reiterate what I was saying when it wasn't even recording, this is one of the secret games that you get from basically interacting with a candy machine. And you can basically do it at any point. I actually did it right at the beginning where Pit Bonnie hasn't attacked yet. And this story is actually, or this little mini game is actually based on Count the Ways. So I do know that there is one person in the comments. I forget your name already, and I know that you read the story, so you might recognize this one, or at least you might recognize the name Count the Ways. And the story is about a girl who, I believe it is around Christmas time. She is feeling very depressed, very isolated from her family, and she decides to just, not take a walk, but she just leaves the house. And I believe she's staying with her grandfather, and he owns a junkyard. And in this junkyard, he has a shed where he has some other stuff that he's, like, I guess, working on. And one of those is a Funtime Freddy. And if you know Sister Location lore, or if you have read, like, the book already, that you know that Funtime Freddy is kind of evil. Like, he is specifically made to kill kids. So, this girl crawls inside of it not knowing what it is. And the animatronic comes alive, realizes that it has this girl hiding inside of it, and it's like, how shall I kill you? And, the whole name of the story is Count the Ways. And it basically just starts telling her a whole bunch of different ways that it could, kill her. It could drown her, boil her alive, it could skewer her, it could do a whole bunch of different things to her. Because, Funtime Freddy kind of relishes in the thrill of killing someone. And throughout the story, she's trying to figure out how she's going to be able to escape and all those other things. And spoiler alert, she doesn't. The story is left ambiguous where it's... I forgot how it is trying to... or how it settles on killing her. But the story ends literally right as it's about to do it. And with her, like, already having a plan in mind on how she's going to escape, but spoiler, she doesn't. But yeah, so she dies. However, in the Fazbear Frights books, towards the end, as I mentioned before, there is some the Stitch Wraith stingers in when they're defeating like the overarching story antagonist, which does involve the ball pit, which I will also go into detail a little later. One of the things that's happening is that One of the characters, a detective, is jumping around through memories which are tied to the ball pit, which I'll again discuss a little bit later. And these memories, one of these memories is about the girl that died inside of the Funtime Freddy. So the guy manages to, I think, find her ghost or her spirit or something, and basically allows her to go back home instead of, dying, quote unquote. But I mean, she is still dead, but she is able to, instead of living in a cycle of, look, I died inside of an animatronic who was basically enjoying the process of killing me. It's like, no, I escaped and I returned home and I spent Christmas with my family and everything was all right. So to go into more detail about that, there is backstory as to how the ball pit functions, and it has to do with like the whole Fazbear Fright things. And I guess there's a reason why it's the first story that like of the whole collection, where the ball pit itself is the ball pits, the balls themselves house memories, but like the bad memories. Like for example, this one where like, well, we can call it Pit Bonnie or Spring Bonnie or William Afton basically murdered the kids and then, stuffed them into the animatronics and all that other bad stuff happened. So what we're experiencing here isn't so much time travel as it's memories, but at the same time, these memories also have real world consequences on the real world. Like for example, if you recall when Oz saves one of the friends that he makes in the past, or in this memory, Pit Bonnie breaks through the door to the arcade at the front of the pizzeria, but then in the present, that door is suddenly missing. So things that happen in this memory have a chance to sort of alter the present. But to what extent, I don't know. Anyway, so let me go and hunt down the other thing. The other mini games, I mean. Something I noticed that I want to really quickly point out is that all the kids that you end up rescuing are right in this scene, in these scenes. Like for example, there's this person right here, the glasses person. I think that they were the ones that were hiding in the kitchen. Oh no, that was one of your friends. I forget. Oh no, she's the one. He or she is the one that's stuck in the animatronic that, to me, was supposed to be Foxy. The girl that you rescue at the end is actually at the beginning. She's dancing around. There's of course Mike and I forget his name. The other one. There's one more. Who am I missing? The other one is around here also, I think. Yeah, like the girl right there, the one that you rescue at the end, right before you save your dad, is right there. Oh, both of them are right there. The one dancing right here on top, and the other one right here. But yeah, they're all right here. I mean, obviously. Okay, another thing that I would like to point out, Cam 1280 might be referencing another Fazbear Fright story called The Man in Room 1280. I believe that's what somebody pointed out in the previous video. And that is specifically referring to a story where I think it's like a group of nuns or nurses or something are taking care of a severe burn victim in one of their rooms. And by all accounts, this person should be dead. Like, they're literally beyond burned. They're crispy. They're like Alex from the visual novel Soul Creek. They're that burned. But for some reason, they don't die. By all accounts, they should be dead, but they don't die. And we later find out that that may or may not be actually William Afton. And in that story, I think they try to do an exorcism. They try to do something in order to get whatever it is that is keeping this man alive to leave him and to help him, pass on to the next life. But there is, I think the story says that there is something else within this man. And I believe that other thing is, it's either, I may be misremembering this because I think it's been almost 2 years since I've read the Fazbear Frights books. It was either somebody named Andrew, which is dead child, or it was Eleanor, which I will go into more detail when I do the other minigame. So I just wanted to point that out for Cam 1280. Also, again, Balloon Boy being weird and creepy. And the little ballerina ones. Something that I also want to point out that you can find out is that most of the top scores in all the arcade machines say GGY. And if you know your FNAF protagonist names, then you might be able to figure out who that is. And if you don't, then it's Gregory from, Security Breach. At least it's sort of like an Easter egg. I'm not exactly sure if that means that he's here. But yeah, it's Gregory. I wonder, there's an ending associated. Oh, this is one of the bad endings. Where should I go? What to do? What do I do? So you can leave, literally. So one of the secrets that I found is that mom is not the only number that you can call. You can actually call. Unfortunately, 911 services have been suspended in your area for budgetary reasons. If this is an emergency, please call your local police station. We're sorry for any inconvenience. Have a nice day. Well, that's great. You can also call, of course, Jeff's Pizzeria. You can also call a mechanic. Little Joe's Mechanics, how can I help you? Do you know anything about animatronics? You got the wrong number, kid. You can also call a plumber. You've reached your friendly neighborhood plumber. What's leaking? Can you help me? It's my dad. Say no more. Your old man tried to fix the pipes and made it worse, We'll have him give me a call and I can fix it, kid. Sounds good? Wait, it's not. That means that Pit Bonnie's around here somewhere. Little noise. You can also call Miss Meechin, your school teacher, even though technically Oswald hasn't met her yet. Because you haven't met her, it doesn't go through. I think. Unless I typed it wrong. It's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, no. You can call the puppet. So if you know Freddy animatronic lore, then you know who the puppet is. Hello? You can also call, let me see, where is it? 6, 2, 6, 4, 5, 3. Mangle. Hello? Those don't really do anything, but it's little things that are hidden. But you can also call 4, 6, 4, 8. William himself. Hello? That's William getting spring trapped. Oh. Maybe he might have recognized his death wails. So, this is the other secret game. This one is based supposedly on Fetch. There isn't really any clues as to what it actually is based on. But considering what happens towards the end of the little mini game, you can probably guess what it's based on. Isn't really any clues as to who you're playing as though. Which again is what game is this? Really, the only thing that you do right now is collect a whole bunch of balloons. You have to collect 6, I think. In order to get this one, though, you have to get at least 5 tickets. You can do that in the present or in the past. I did it all in the past because I'm already on day 3. And did I just loop? I looped. That's weird. It's the first time that's happened. And yeah, you get 5 tickets, and then the 6th ticket, or not ticket, the vouchers, the one that you exchange for prizes. You exchange the next one in the past, meaning in the arcade where Bonnie is holding, I forget his name, is Clint or Mike. And after you do that, you'll get this game. And you can see once you reach the number 6 up top on the top left will turn, purple. Gee, I wonder what that could be about. Also, it doesn't matter if you try to interact with the Golden Freddy on top, nothing happens. See you on top, which is what I believe Fetch says at the end of the story. His story. Okay, so the last minigame that you have to do is on day 5 and only day 5. You also can't be hiding. So what you have to do is you have to call your mom. So here we have Eleanor. If you don't know who Eleanor is, she is from I think the second story of the Fazbear Frights. And she's in the book for Into the Pit. And when she's introduced as this friendly robot thing that is, I guess, being helpful towards this little girl who has this very bad image of herself. And she compares herself a lot to her peers and things like that. You know how it is when you're younger and you kind of feel like looks are everything. Well, anyways, so she finds this robot. This robot says hey, I can grant you a wish. And the girl says I want to be pretty. So she says, okay, well, every single time that you go to sleep at night, I will make you pretty. But yeah, I will make you pretty depending on what you want me to help you change. And it goes from her looks, her weight and things like that. So over the course of the story, she helps the girl change little by little until she is completely unrecognizable. And despite this, though, like, all her peers are like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," and blah 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 blah. All, like, her bullies are like, suddenly they like her and everything like that. But her mom doesn't recognize her, and I forget what exactly happens, but um either her mom or her realizes what Eleanor has actually been doing, which is every single night she has been chopping off little bits and pieces of this girl and replacing it with robot parts or animatronic parts, I guess, because this is Five Nights at Freddy's. And one of the stipulations for granting her wish was that she had to wear that necklace that you see right there at the bottom, and she was to never remove it, because if you do, then, it breaks the wish. So something happens. I forget what it is, but the girl trips and the necklace falls off. And much to her horror, she realizes that she is basically made up of animatronic parts and she dies. So I don't remember if it's her, the girl, prior to accidentally tripping and, the necklace falling off of her, or if it's her mom or somebody. But they end up finding all of her bits and pieces that Eleanor chopped off of her. I think in the garage, like in all the cabinets and stuff like that. And it's one of those stories where it's like, oh my God, wow. Um, but yeah, so Eleanor gives her this necklace and tells her, don't remove it, or else, your wish is broken and, I can't help you. But it turns out that it's the necklace itself, on the little thing that you see by Eleanor's feet. It has like a little heart pendant, which actually houses in what's called an illusion disc. That, I think that's what was actually happening. The illusion disc causes people that hear the frequency that it emits to see other things. So the illusion disc was causing everyone to see this like new girl that was changing little bit by little bit, but in reality, she was just an animatronic at the end, because she had been just hacked to pieces, and every single little bit of her was being replaced by animatronic parts. But yeah, and then Eleanor, as we find out, is actually the overarching antagonist, and this is spoilers for all of the Fazbear Frights books. She is actually the evil behind every single story. She is believed to be the evil that is actually within William Afton, that's causing him to do most of the bad things that he's doing. But I mean, he's evil, but she was keeping him alive either through remnant or agony or her own self. And towards the end of the Stitch Wraith stingers, they are able to finally defeat her by, and this is spoilers for the whole ball pit lore, by essentially going through the memories that are attached to each individual ball, because apparently each individual ball within the ball pit is attached to like a memory of people that she kind of had a hand in murdering and tormenting. And they go through all these memories, and the detective, which is one of the main characters, within the Stitch Rate Stingers, basically kills her in all these memories, weakening her in the real life, and allowing, I think this was it the Stitch Wraith, or it was something, to be able to defeat her in the real life. And once she is basically weak and useless, I guess, in the real life, they managed to trap her in her own worst memories. And that's how they defeat her. But yeah, the ball pit, every single ball that you see within the ball pit houses a bad memory that is used to torture people. And technically speaking, every single time, and I don't know why it only works for this one memory, but every single time that Oz was jumping into the ball pit, he was jumping into the memory of when William went and killed the kids, and then everyone went running out, and et cetera, et cetera. So Pit Bonnie, which is the one that's currently chasing around Oswald, is actually just the memory of William Afton. At least that's how I understood it, and that's how it was explained to me. Um, what else? What else am I leaving out? So yeah, each individual ball within the ball pit houses a memory. So I mean, technically, if he came into contact with the wrong ball, he would end up in another memory. He could probably end up in the. I mean, maybe this is what this is happening right now, where he's witnessing the memory where Eleanor essentially tricked this little girl who had self-esteem issues into letting her chop off pieces of her, and then eventually relishing it when the pendant falls off, and then she realizes that she's not a human anymore. She's an animatronic, and she dies. So maybe also the one with Fetch is also one of the bad memories, and maybe that's how they might connect if they decide to do any other Fazbear Fright stories, where the ball pit continues to be a sort of a method of being able to tell the other stories. But I sincerely doubt it, because there is a lot of Fazbear Fright stories that could, be turned into games like this. There was another one, but I'll leave that towards the end. But yeah, we're about to kill the little girl, unfortunately. She basically dissolves into nothing. Okay, so before I continue, one of the bad endings requires you to not pick up this photo, but I want to show you the good ending first, and then I'll just show you the bad ending. So we're about to jump to me saving Dad and doing the good stuff. This video is by Rubhen925. So basically everything happens the way it's gonna happen again, but they end up hugging. It's like, I love you, Dad. Same here, kiddo. By the way, I think I suspended. What? But then, haha, Jeff's pizzeria is taking off, and they're eating pizza together as a family, and Jeff is looking a little bit better. But yeah, that's the good ending, basically. Actually, before I continue, you see that picture right there at the top right? You might not be able to see it depending on how dark it is. That is a picture from the graphic novel of the Silver Eyes, the Twisted Ones, and shoot, I have the book, but I don't remember what the other one's called. But I'll superimpose the picture right now. Okay, let's continue. Another thing worth mentioning again, the door, you can't open it from the other side, but this is the door. This is the door that was hidden behind the machine. Unfortunately, you are not able to see it in the present, but this is the door. This is a door behind where William and Henry his workshop was. So I'm about to show you one of the bad endings. This is what happens when you don't fight back. What happened? Why can't I feel my voice? What's wrong with my voice? If you notice, the name is weird. And they're saying hi. Why are they being friendly? Who do they think I am? Again, the name. What am I? This is implying that Oswald became Foxy. Now, if you don't pick up the picture, something else happens. I believe you fight Pit Bonnie as you're supposed to. You jump into the ball pit and you take your dad. However... Dad. No, not dead. Please, don't be dead. Oswald? What happened? It is implied he kills you. So yeah, that was all the extra stuff that I wasn't able to add. So I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, like I said, there's a whole bunch of like different stories and stuff that they could probably adapt from Fazbear Fright, and I'm really looking forward to them doing more. What was the other story? Oh, there was one that revolves around the girl that is believed to be inside of Chica. I like the song. Let me see if I can remember what it's called. But the story basically revolves around this girl. And she lives with her little sister and her mom, I believe. And every night, Chica, the animatronic, comes and takes her away. This girl is actually a ghost. And she is the ghost of the girl who is inside of the Chica animatronic. So every night, Chica comes, takes her away. Every night, Chica comes, takes her away. But I'm trying to remember what exactly happens, but I think her little sister and her used to share a doll, or her sister liked a doll that the dead sister used to own, but she hid it away from her little sister because, you know, sibling rivalry and all that other good stuff. And towards the final night, I believe she is trying to race against time because she knows that this is the final night. This is the night where Chica takes her for good. She is trying to find the doll to give it to the sister, I think. I'm trying to remember the story again because it's been a while. And in the end, Chica comes and takes her, but right before they leave, I think she sees her little sister holding the doll, and like she finally found it. And I think throughout the story, the little sister knew that her older sister's spirit was still at the house each night because she kept like having dreams and she kept like drawing things. I think she kept drawing like the doll or the sister or something like that. But I feel because it progresses over the course of a few nights that it would be like an interesting story that could be very easily adapted. And like it would be a sad story too, because it's basically the older sister finally moving on, I guess, but at the same time also being, you know, stuck inside of the Chica animatronic. The animatronic does allow the older sister to say goodbye to her younger sister, so, you know, I could see that going a number of ways. What other stories? Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of books, and each one I think contains like 3 stories plus the Stitch Wraith stingers. So there's a lot, you know, that they can pick from. But yeah, there's also the 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 Mimic game. Now, the Mimic is the overarching antagonist of the Steel Wool era Five Nights at Freddy's games, which includes the FNAF VR 1 and 2, Security Breach and Ruin, and I guess technically, well, actually this one doesn't include it because it's by another studio, but yeah, it includes all those, but it also includes the Tales from the Mega Pixelplex. So it's not the antagonist of every one of those stories, but it is the antagonist of the Mega Pixelplex. It is the one that was behind the scenes being evil. It would be, I am looking forward to that Mimic game, and it would be a cool way to sort of delve into the Tales of the Mega Pixelplex games, in the books, like to maybe expand on the Mimic's backstory, I guess. And if you see the trailer, you'll see that it looks like a clown. So there used to be, well, there is still some theories and rumors where it revolves around Circus Baby, and like the theme of circuses and like kind of clowns and kind of goofy things like that, where there used to be an even older set of animatronics that wore costumes instead of being like, you know, like these plush animatronic suits. And the Mimic is part of that, supposedly, even though technically he was created by, I'm trying to remember his name, I think it was Edwin, and he was built for his son to keep him busy while he was working for Fazbear Entertainment, building animatronics, and apparently he also had a hand in creating some of the known animatronics like the Freddy Fazbears and Bonnie, Chicas, etc., etc. And something happens, as it always does, and the Mimic was supposed to keep the child company, and it grows and it mimics the child. It basically becomes a carbon copy of the child, but something happens to the kid, and it dies. Spoilers. And the dad is grieving and takes his anger and grief out on the Mimic robot. And people were theorizing that it imparts a bit of his agony, into itself, causing it to become violent, which through the Mimic portion of the Tales of the Pixelplex books, you'll find that it's killing people, these like teenagers that like sneak into the Mega Pixelplex, and it ends up killing one of them, like it ends up killing them each one by one, so throughout the stories. But yeah, so it would be interesting to see the backstory for the Mimic. I'm excited for that. What else? What other stuff was in this game? Let me see if I can pull up what the person who commented. Let's see, where are their comments? Where are the comments? They were saying that it would be cool to have an adaptation of a story called Kids at Play. Is it that one? References to the five Kids at Play. Oh no, the Breaking Wheel. The Breaking Wheel is a very kind of gruesome story, which is kind of similar to what happens to William Afton, but essentially the story is there's two kids, and I think they're entering like a competition, and I forget what the protagonist is doing, but his rival is creating like an endo suit, which can be remote controlled also, but it can be worn, and like I think it like boosts your strength and like stuff like that. But the protagonist, I think, is kind of fed up with like this kid because he's kind of like snobby and kind of like know-it-all. I think Again, I don't remember the story that much, but he wants to play a prank on this kid who created the suit, and he takes the controller of it, and I think he wants like to scare the kid, and so he like starts moving it around and things like that. But as it turns out, the snobby little kid that made the endosuit was wearing it at the time, so he ends up getting stretched and pulled, and basically it's a whole, like, a really graphic thing that happens to the poor kid. Well, maybe they deserved it. But after that happens, this suit and the kid end up sort of tormenting the protagonist by, like, stalking them, and eventually, they end up killing him. But I do believe that would actually be, like, a really interesting story to adapt. There's a lot of really neat graphic and kind of like wow, like, this isn't a children's book. Like, it skirts the line between being PG-13 horror, or being PG-13 horror, and also being like I don't know if this kid should be reading this. Oh, there's another story that I was thinking of that involves the plush trap animatronics. Well, actually, are they even animatronics? I think they're just supposed to be like toys. But in the story, there's this kid that wants the plush trap, but I think they're all sold out. But eventually he ends up finding one, because of course he ends up finding one. But it's a little weird because the teeth look human, and the eyes look kind of vaguely human. So what this plush trap is, and if you've played I forget which one it is. Is it Five Nights at Freddy's 4? It's the one with the kid that's in the room that's getting, like, attacked by the nightmare animatronics, and it turns out that it's actually like gas, fear gas, and it's a whole experiment by William Afton, and it's not even real. It's all in his head. But anyways, the plush trap animatronic is supposed to chase you and catch you. It's like kind of like a game of tag. But it's been infected by, I believe, by agony or by remnant, and instead of just chasing you, it attacks the kids, and it's 3 kids, and they're supposed to stay in the light. But of course, this being a Five Nights at Freddy's game, the lights go out. And every single time the lights go out, it goes after the kids. And there's 3 kids, and so they have to use, like, their lights, their cell phones, or their flashlights, but it's going out, and they're locked in somehow. And yeah, I think they managed to get out. They managed to run away towards the train tracks, and to lead it to the train tracks, where a train ends up hitting it and just destroys it. If I recall that correctly. Yeah. That would be another interesting story to have adapted. And I could see it being done, like, throughout different nights like this one. Like, this game was... It could be considered easy at the easier levels, at creepy and, what was it, frightening or whatever? Whatever I was playing. But, like, yeah, I could see it. I could see a whole lot of those stories being adapted, even the Tales from the Pixaplex ones. But yeah, so, yeah, that was it. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed playing this game again. I did have to use somebody else's good ending, because unfortunately I did something wrong again. I played the three games. I found all of Dad's things. I got the picture. I don't know what I did wrong, so oops. Anywho, so yeah, I mean, there really wasn't that much. It was just the dad hugging you and saying I love you, and, it's all nice and whatever. And then, Jeff, instead of getting attacked, Jeff is successful. He ends up selling the arcade machines, and he uses that money towards building up his pizza place. So yeah, woo, yay, Jeff survived. Anyways, but yeah, so yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.